When a woman, Congresswoman Sala Burton, whom Barbara Lee knew very well, was her friend, she was sick and she insisted that I would run for Congress when there was a vacancy in that seat. And it was a woman promoting a woman. Now, again, I had to pray over this decision, had never even thought about running for Congress or public office. I discussed it with my husband, I prayed over it. But I had one issue. Four of my children, our children were already in college. One was going into senior year in high school. So I went to my baby Alexandra, a teenager, and said, Alexandra, Mommy, that's what I was called. I'm now Mimi as a grandmother, but Mommy has an opportunity to run for Congress. It would be better if it were a year from now and you were already in college. So I hesitate to go down this path, but I've been praying over this and I want to know what you think. Any decision is okay. If you want me to stay here with you, I love doing that. That's my life. Otherwise, I'll be in Washington for a few days a week. But I just want to know what you think. Very thoughtfully, very prayerfully, very respectfully of my precious daughter. She looked up and said, Mother, get a life. It wasn't even Mommy. Get a life. What teenage daughter doesn't want her mother out of town for a few days? In any event, I got a life. I got a life in addition to the beautiful life I already had as a wife and mother. People told me you'll love it when you go there because you love the issues. That's why you're interested in politics, issues that relate to stopping the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction, issues about human rights, issues about health and education, protecting the environment. That's the community we come from here in this hotbed of activity in the Bay Area. You love the issues, you will love to work on them in Congress. And so I did. And so I did. I studied the issues. I tried to master the policy without any thought of running for leadership. But when that opportunity came along, Carla, I was ready. And Carla's message to you about her being ready is my message to you. Be ready. Be ready. Sonia, doesn't matter what the path is. It may be a path that wasn't planned, that you didn't realize, but it will be open to you if you are ready. Transitions are challenging. Running for Congress is not for the faint of heart. Right, Barbara? It's not easy, but it is worth it. So people always ask, how did you make the transition from housewife to House Speaker? It's in my book, Know Your Power, and I've left one for each of you. I've left one with each of you as you leave later. If you want to know more. So I won't go into all of that right now. But the first transition was to go from being the representative of San Francisco in the Congress. How proud I am of that. And then to add to that, being not just the representative from San Francisco, but the Speaker of the entire House of Representatives. So let me tell you what happens when you become the leader. Now you're elected by your colleagues. This is power, because you're not appointed, say, by a president or a governor, so your power is connected to them. You are elected by your colleagues in the Congress, and your power, you come to the table with that strength. So the first meeting that I was invited to at the White House shortly after my becoming the leader was with President Bush in a bipartisan leadership meeting at the White House. Well, I've been to the White House many times, so I wasn't apprehensive about or nervous about going to this meeting. But when I went there, And the door closed behind me, and I saw who was at the table, the president, the vice president, the Republican and House and Senate leaders. I realized that this was unlike any meeting I had ever been before at the White House. In fact, it was unlike any meeting that any woman had ever been to at the White House. Because I went there, not as a president's appointee at the table, a cabinet member, however wonderful that is, but I went there as a representative of a separate branch of government, as a leader from the House of Representatives. So, President Bush, ever gracious, welcoming me there, saying, we look forward to what you have to say. It'll probably be different from what we've heard before here. But just as he started to lay out his legislative agenda, I felt very closed in my chair. Very closed in. It was like everybody was sitting on the chair with me. It was very tight. And I realized, and I swear that this happened, and it's never happened before or since, that sitting on that chair with me was Susan B. Anthony, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Alice Paul, and Sojourner Truth, and all the people who had worked so hard for women to have the right to vote and be empowered in any way that they wanted to gain power. They're all sitting there on the chair with me now. And then I hear them say, at last we have a seat at the table. And then they were gone. I have no idea what President Bush thought was going on at that chair, but in any event, what was happening is that women standing on the shoulders of women, on the shoulders of women, on the shoulders of women, at last we had a seat at the table. My first thought was, we want more. We want more. We want more women, we want more minorities at the seats of power, and we have to strive to make that happen. Okay, fast forward to March of this year. We're at the White House, and our great president, President Obama, is signing the health care bill. So we're back at the White House, and two of us who were standing with him when he signed the bill were me, Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House, at Trinity College, and on the other side, Kathleen Sebelius, the Secretary of Health and Human Services, Trinity College, 1970. Two women college graduates playing important roles in the passage of our bill.